So this video is the chapter 1 review in PreCalc, and I'm going to look at 3, 9, 12, and 16. Got some questions on those problems. So 3 is right here. So it says they give you a point and a line, and it says write the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line. So you need a point and a slope to write an equation of a line. They gave me the point, and then they're saying it's parallel to the given line. So parallel lines have the same slope. So the line that they gave me is y minus 7 equals 0. So I want to put that in point slope form. Y all by itself, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides, and I get y equals 7. So if you picture graphing this line, I would go up to y equals 7, and it would be a horizontal line. The slope of a horizontal line is 0. So the slope is 0, and the point is 1 comma negative 5. So if I'm going to write an equation of a line with a slope 0 through this point, I'm going to do y minus 1 equals 0 times x minus negative 5. Minusing a negative is the same as adding. But if I distribute 0 here, I'm going to get 0. So what I have is y minus 1 equals 0. Oh, I did this backwards. I'm sorry about that. I should have done y minus negative 5, because that's my y value, equals 0 times x minus 1. So everything over here is going to be 0. Minusing a negative is the same as adding. So I have y plus 5 equals 0. Minus 5 from both sides, and I get y equals negative 5. So if these two lines, actually it's the same line, which definitely makes them parallel. So that makes sense. Oh, this is the answer. So it's parallel to this line, y equals 7 and y equals negative 5. So those are parallel. Now, a perpendicular line, if this line we're given is horizontal, a perpendicular line would be vertical. And so if my point is 1 comma negative 5, vertical lines go through an x value, so it would have to go through right here, x equals 1, because that's the x value of the point I'm given. So x equals 1 is the equation of the vertical line. For some reason they wrote it like this, x minus 1. It's the same. You would just minus 1 from both sides. I'm not sure if you put x equals 1 in, if it would mark it wrong. They have it as x minus 1 equals 0. So that is 3. 9 is right here. So this is sketching graphs. Sketch the graph of the 3 functions by hand on the same rectangular coordinate system. Verify your results using a graphing utility. So these are all in slope-intercept form. Remember, f of x can be written as y. G of x could be written as y. H of x could be written as y. So this is the same as y equals mx plus, if you don't see a b, then it's 0. So the y-intercept is where you want to start. My y-intercept is 0, so that's going to be at the origin. 1/3 is my slope. So that means my rise over run is 1/3. So start at the point you just plotted, and rise 1 and run 3. Put another point. Rise 1 and run 3. Put another point. You can go the opposite way too. Then you're going to go down and to the left 3. So here is my first line. That's y equals 1/3 x. Now this line has the same slope, so they're going to be parallel, but the y-intercept is 3. So the first point I'm going to graph is on the y-axis, because it's a y-intercept, at 3. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Rise 1, run 3. Rise 1, run 3. So there's the first two lines. Those are parallel because they have the same slope. Now this one, I would probably distribute that 6 to begin with. So I would get 6x minus 18. So that would give me the y-intercept. But when I look at this, my y-intercept is way down here off the grid. Negative 18 is off the grid. But I could pick another x value and substitute it in here. So you could just think about making a table of values. And I maybe want to see what happens when I choose x is 1. So when x is 1, I would have 6 times 1 minus 18. 6 minus 18 is negative 12. So that's still off my grid. Let's see what happens when I pick 2. 6 times 2 minus 18, that would be 12 minus 18, that would be negative 6. So there is a point I can graph, 2, negative 6. So over 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So once I have one point on my line, then I can use my slope to find other points. So my slope is 6, put a 1 under there. So my rise is 6 and my run is 1. So once I have one point, I can go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and over 1. And then attach it. So that's all they wanted there on that one. All right, and the next one is 12. Let's find 12. All right, here's 12. So we have two functions, f of x and g of x, and they want me to find f of g of x and g of f of x. So I'm going to do this one first. So when I'm reading left to right, I come to f first. So I want to find f, and where there's an x, which is right there, so I'm doing f of g of x now. So I want to write the function f, but I'm going to replace that x. So instead of x third minus 5, I'm going to put a big hole, should be a 3 there, minus 5. And then what's going to go in that opening is my g of x. So g of x is going inside of f of x. So this would be the third root of x plus 14. And then we want to simplify that. So I have a power of 3 and a third root. So those are inverse functions. So that's just going to leave me with the x plus 14 minus 5. And 14 minus 5 is positive 9. So f of g of x equals x plus 9. Then they asked me to do the other way. G of f of x. So this time, the one I come to first is g. So I want to write g, but I'm going to replace that x, or I'm going to substitute the function in there. So I'm going to write g. Where the x is, I'm going to put a big hole and put my plus 14. And what I'm going to put in there is this function. So all of this is going inside of g. So I'm going to have x to the third minus 5. Now we can simplify this. This parenthesis I don't really need because these are like terms and I can combine those. So I still have everything under the third root. X to the third I'm just going to copy, and 14 minus 5 again is 9. And so then I have that. And that is all that I can do. I do notice in the answer key, instead of doing the third root, they wrote it as 2 to the 1/3. So So they want you to write that as a rational exponent. So your root becomes your denominator up here, and your power is a 1 because there is no power written there. Then part B says determine algebraically whether they're equal. Well, I can already tell they're not equal because these are very different. So that would be no, they're not equal. And then it says using a graphing utility, use a graphing utility to complete the table of values for the two compositions to confirm your answer in part B. So they're saying, well, use your calculator to confirm that they're not equal. So if you go to your y equals, and if I put in this x plus 9 as my first function, let me get rid of this. Okay, and then I'm just going to go to table. And there's my table of values. So they just want you to put in the values. So when x is 0, y is 8. When x is 1, y is 10, and so on. And then they want you to do the same thing for your other function. So I'm going to do y equals, clear that out. So I'll do parenthesis x to the third. Did I do to the third? Yes. Plus 9, close parenthesis, to the 1 divided by 3. And then second table. And when x is 0, oops, going the wrong way there. When x is 0, y is 2.08. When x is 1, y is 2.15. So you can see that they are not equal. And then the last one, number 16, I really honestly don't know how you can do this. I tried going to this website here, but this problem was not listed in their examples that they said they would provide. But it says sketch the line that you think best approximates the data in the scatter plot, then find the equation of that line. So if I sketched a line, I unfortunately do not have a ruler, but let's just say I sketched a rough line here. You can see it doesn't even really land on my grid. I could maybe estimate the slope like this. So kind of when I'm going over 1, it looks like I'm going up a little more than 1. I don't know. I'm going to say you cannot really do this without a better graph where I can get the actual coordinate points of some of these points. So I'm just going to tell you what they got. They got -5/4 x plus 8, and I would not worry about that question. That's it.